Hey, I'm back, and today I want to talk about cars in Japan. This was a request from somebody, so I thought, you know what, I'll do it. So, let's get into it. Usually I like to talk about the practical things first, and then get on to the kind of weird stuff, but today I thought I'd start with the strange things. So, what I'm going to start with today is itaisha. Itaisha are what you see here. It's basically people take cars like this and then they decorate them with anime characters on, let's say, the like wheels or the size of the car, etc. So you can see a lot of them here. This has been popular for the last, I guess, 15 years or so, maybe a little bit longer, but around like the turn of the century, this started to become more popular. And although they're not really popular, you do actually see them sometimes. So I actually have seen this before. So let me show you. I'll put something up here. So, although they aren't common and not everyone has these, you do see them sometimes. So, that's interesting. And actually, a precursor to these, something that came before, and I think something that inspired these itaisha. This one's really itai. What happened? I got off track there, sorry. Actually, the word itaisha, like this, itai means hurts, and sha means like car. So basically, it's like a car that hurts your eyes, and this car looks like it took a beating, so I can understand the itai there. But anyways, get back on track. So one of the inspirations from this is actually Dekotora, which you can see here. So these are basically trucks that people, like just like souped up, and they added like lots of like stuff to it. I think at first they took these from like American like military parts and American like old cars, and they just put them on these 16 wheelers or whatever. Actually, I'm not sure if they're actually 16 wheels, but whatever. And they would paint the sides of them. They put all sorts of lights on them. You can see here, it's really crazy. But this is actually older. I think it started in the 1970s, I believe. Don't quote me on that though. But if you look up Dekotora, you can find it yourself. And actually, this was an inspiration for Gundam, not the other way around. These aren't inspired by Gundam. These inspired Gundam, which I think is really interesting. But you can see they have all sorts of like strange designs there, and it's really interesting. Some of these look really good, a little strange, I guess. So definitely check these out if you're interested. You can find these online. I think they even have something on YouTube, like a documentary about them, a short documentary. So definitely go check that out. But talking more general terms, in Japan, I don't drive. One of the reasons is driving is really expensive and you really don't need it. Trains and buses can take you almost anywhere. Public transportation is clean and very safe. And on top of that, driving is just really troublesome and expensive. The gas prices here are higher than America. The roads sometimes cost money. You have to pay a toll for them. On top of that, cars have insurance. You have to get checks every, don't quote me on this, I think 3 years, but I'm not sure about that. And on top of even all of that, many places, apartments and like shopping centers don't have free parking, so you have to pay for parking. So many people, they live in their house, sometimes even people's houses, they don't have a like parking garage or a place to park, so they have to pay for an extra space. And that space, I shouldn't say everywhere. Where I live, I think it's around $200 a month. Some places it's higher, some places it's lower. So, it's kind of like a money pit. But some people like it. Lots of people in Japan do like driving, so lots of people, have cars. And for the most part, Japan's pretty safe when it comes to driving, but, not always. And so, moving on, I thought the last part I'll talk about what somebody asked me to talk about, and that's what type of cars do people usually drive in Japan. So here are the 2016 in Japan 30 best-selling car models. I'm not going to go over all of these, but I'll go over some of them and show them to you. What a lot of these have in common is cars in Japan are generally smaller than America. They don't have as much leg room or anything, and they're not really all that flashy, to be honest. I think that one of the reasons they're so small is because the roads in Japan are small. They're very narrow. And I don't really know why they did that. It makes driving difficult, and when you're going places, oftentimes cars come to the road and both cars are stuck because it's only enough room for one car to go past. It's a mess, but whatever. Anyways, back to the 30 best-selling cars. I'll do the top 10. So number one car is the Toyota Prius. So this has gained popularity because people are more eco-conscious and they want to be cleaner and everything. So this is very high. Toyota is actually the number one car brand in Japan. So you can see how many cars it's selling. Number two is a Toyota Aqua. I'm not too familiar with this, but you can actually see here what it looks like. Number three is Toyota Sienta. I'm not familiar with that one either, but you can check it out. And coming in number four, you have another brand, so the Honda Fit. Number five is the Nissan Note. Number six is the Toyota Voxy. Number seven is the Toyota Corolla. I think this one, the Corolla and the Prius, so far, I believe these are the only ones they sell in America, but don't quote me on that. Like I said, I haven't lived in America for a while, so maybe they do sell some other ones, but those are the only ones I remember and I know about. Number 8 is the Honda Vezel. I'm not sure. Number 9 is the Nissan Serena. And number 10 is the Toyota Vitz. So you'll notice lots of these are kind of like sedans. Like, actually, I don't even know what these are. I guess compact cars and vans. So many of the people buy these because they have a family and they need to drive places, so they buy a van. And other ones are just kind of like compact cars, and fuel efficiency is important. So that's one of the big things. You very rarely see like sports cars in Japan, although some people have them, but I think sports cars are probably as popular as Itaisha. You see them rarely. I have seen like Ferraris and Lamborghinis and things in some place like Shibuya, but they have everything fancy in Shibuya, so that's not really indicative of how normal Japanese people live. Foreign cars like BMW and Benz are popular in Japan, so if you see a foreign car, it's probably one of those. Also, I think Audis I see every once in a while, but other ones are not so popular, and American cars are not popular at all. You rarely ever see those. On top of that, like trucks, you very rarely see. Those aren't popular unless you're a construction worker. It seems like the only people that buy those actually do work in like construction or some kind of job where you need to carry the materials. Normal people don't really buy that. On top of that, I'm trying to think if there's any of the SUVs are not popular at all. I can't even think of the last time I saw an SUV. And like I said, American cars, the only time you really see them is there's some people who are collectors and they really like these. So what they do is they go out and they buy like an old Cadillac, because you can actually buy them in Japan, and they soup them up and put hydraulic. I have seen hydraulics on cars in Japan and do all sorts of things. Not an Itaisha, but I guess the equivalent, like what you'd see in America. But these are the types of cars, these type of like compact, fuel-efficient cars are what Japanese people generally love. And like I said, even though it's kind of a pain to drive in Japan, lots of people do really like it. So there you go. I hope I answered all your questions. If you have anything else, leave it below. And if you have something you want me to cover about Japan, I might do it. I can't do everything. I don't know everything. But I'll try to get to it and answer your questions. So if you have a request, leave it below. As always, subscribe if you haven't, and until next time, see you.